Welcome back to r/EntitledPeople, where we read stories about entitlement that will infuriate you. If you are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe as I upload daily content and we would love to see you in our community. Without any further ado, let's dive right in. And the first one was posted by user Stacy Rose on our own subreddit r/ripe stories and is titled "Got Spit On for Trying to Stop a Hoarder of Baby Wipes." During this whole mass hysteria, I've seen some crazy things, but the saddest thing I saw was a man who's a father of a young baby that looked to be a month old, begging this woman who was about in her late 60s for baby wipes for his child. She had a full cart just hoarding it and she was rude to this man, which pissed me and a bunch of other customers off. This same store where she got all the baby wipes has a sign up stating that they are limiting things like toilet paper, baby wipes, meats and some other things to 3 per family, but this lady did not read that sign and had her cart stocked full of it. This man walked up to her and asked her for just 1 package and she started screaming at him, calling him names and told him that she got it first, so it is hers. He was begging her and explaining that he needed it for his baby that he had with him and she simply said, "I don't care," and started to walk away with her cart stocked full of it. A bunch of us blocked her path, telling her that there is a limit in the store to how many she can get, and we all pointed out the fact that she has no baby, but she started screaming at us too. I had my hand on her cart when she tried to pull it away, but I'm a stubborn girl, so I was not gonna let her get away. Others had their hands on her cart too. I was closest to her, so you know what she did? She spit on me. That took me by surprise. The man was still begging her and people were screaming at her. A lady closest to me witnessed this woman spitting on me, so she ran off and got the manager. I was still shocked and a lot of things were going through my head at that time. The manager showed up and this lady tried to get past the manager too, but the manager stopped her and told her that there are limits to how many baby wipes she can get. She simply said, "I'm a customer, you cannot deny me since I'm paying." The manager said, "I can and I will deny the sale. You are only allowed to get 1 package since you have no child. People with children can only get 3 packages. She started screaming how it was unfair. Now I am still standing there, shocked that this woman spit on me, and the lady who got the manager handed me a tissue to wipe it off my face and asked me if I was okay. The manager noticed and asked the lady what happened and she said, "This stupid hoarder girl spit on this girl," to which the manager looked at the lady with the cart and said, "Is this true?" And she had the balls to smile and say, "Yes it is," like she was proud. The manager then pulled out the walkie-talkie and ordered security to where we were and told the woman that what she did was assault and because of that he will be calling the police and won't be allowing her to get any baby wipes now. She looked at him and said, "How is that assault?" He just looked at her and said, "You spit on her, that's assault. None of us know if you're sick and you spit on her." She just laughed at him and said, "You idiot, that's not assault." The manager ordered another employee to take the cart away from the lady and ordered security to take the lady to their office. He allowed the man to get 3 baby wipes and had the employee hand out the rest of the cart to those that needed some. I did not notice at the time, but there were other people around with children that were able to get baby wipes now. By this time, police finally showed up. They questioned witnesses and me and then asked me if I needed to go to the hospital. I was thinking that's a weird thing to ask because I only got spit on, but the one officer told me I should go and get tested just to be on the safe side. The manager told me he will hold my groceries at the service desk for when I am able to come back. He took my ID to write down my name. I agreed with the officer after that and then he told me I should press charges on the woman. I ended up getting a ride to the hospital and had to explain to the triage nurse what happened, so she ushered me in the back to get a test thingy done. Since I was there, I asked her if there have been many cases of the virus and she told me that in our county alone there have only been 2 cases and one of the patients is in ICU while the other is at home under self-quarantine but being monitored closely. Eventually I was free to go and my ride came to get me. I went back to the store and true to his word, my stuff was waiting for me at customer service. When I paid for my stuff, the manager gave me a gift card that had about $25 on it for my troubles. He told me the woman was arrested and she spat at one of the security too, and he sent them to the hospital as well. The manager apologized to me for my troubles and I simply said, "All this over baby wipes because a father wanted just one package for his baby?" And the manager said, "I know, it's crazy and it brings out the crazy in people." All this had happened in a short period of time while at the store, but when I went to the hospital, I was not able to come back to the store for another couple of hours later. I know the lady who spit on me was arrested but released with an appearance ticket. I looked into it. I also found out that I will most likely have to go to court too and explain what happened, but I am hoping this all blows over and the lady learned her lesson. I doubt it, like the manager said, this situation brings the crazy in people. I forgot to mention that when I got my groceries, which were only canned goods and cat food, there was a little card from the man with the baby thanking me for stepping in and helping and apologizing because I got spit on. He left his number in case I want to talk to him, and I am planning on calling him and his wife to let them know I am okay and to make sure they are okay too. I did not use my gift card, I'm saving it for emergencies. When I got home, I got a phone call from my work telling me the college won't be opening up the dining halls or the coffee shop, so I will be on extended unemployment, which really sucks. I cannot wait for things to be back to normal again. And guys, I'm curious, are you at all affected by this whole virus situation in regards to your work situation? I know that now it is tough for many people who cannot go to their work. Let us know in the comments, and by the way, I'm also curious if you know anyone who is hoarding toilet paper. I've never met anyone in real life who does that, so I would love to know if you know someone. And the next one was posted by our favorite old Diva Mama-san on our subreddit and is titled "My Entitled Diva of the Old West." Hi there from your old semi-entitled diva. And Raipan, this is for you to use. Thank you by the way. As I mentioned in a previous story, my family is full of entitled people and entitled brats. Our great matriarch, my great-grandmother, had 2 younger sisters. This is a short and funny story about the middle sister. I will call her Jonine/Johnny. Great Aunt Johnny was the prettiest of her 3 sisters and knew it. She tended to have lots of men try to come calling on her. Living in the latter part of the Wild West, some of these young men were less than respectable. Johnny was the daughter of a Baptist minister. She seemed to be the stereotypical preacher's daughter. They did not have money to get fancy clothes, which back then had to be handmade. So she decided to be a modern woman and get a job. She was a bank teller, and one day she saw one of her suitors walk into the bank. She thought he was coming to see her until he pulled his bandana up around his face. This young man and a few others held up the bank. She did not let on she knew who he was. The next day in town he came up to her and asked to take her out to eat since he came into a little money. Not only did she not turn him in, but that was not the only rascal she was involved with. The family long speculated that that particular young man might have been a member of the infamous hole-in-the-wall gang. Okay, I gotta admit that was indeed short and sweet. Thank you very much for this story, Mama-san, and furthermore, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you very much, all help is really appreciated. And the next one is titled "My Entitled Aunt", posted by a user with a spectacular name. This is my first post, English is first language, on computer but in Spanish class. Don't judge. So, my entitled aunt, late 50s, is a narcissist who loves to stir up drama and make everything about her and her drug user friends. Last year, around August/September, my great-grandfather decided that he wanted to renovate his house that she was living in so he could move back into it. He gave her an ultimatum: move your stuff into the garage or throw it away or we will do it for her. We gave her 3 months to do that. Once the deadline passed, we gave her a week notice before we went over to clean and evaluate the damage. We got there and it was filthy. animal feces all over the house, old moldy food everywhere. It took us a week to clean out the garage alone. Old broken furniture into the scrap pile. Fried electronics, trash old crusty and moldy clothes, trash. We had to scrape and peel old half-eaten fast food off everything, the nice bed we had gotten for her that summer, ruined by mystery stains, the 4 ice chests of PORN that she had, to the dump. I even found a drug stash she had stolen from our deceased grandmother. Never once did she offer to help clean, nor was an apology given to us. She was out of state partying the whole time. When she came back, she was royally pissed that we looked through her stuff and invaded her privacy. She demanded a minimum of $50,000 for the loss of precious memories and destruction of property. I was helping sort through one of the rooms she used as storage when she finally came back to the house. She announced her arrival with a "Get the hell off my property, this is my shit and you have no right to go through it." My grandma, her older sister, got into a big argument that I did not bother to listen to because my worry was elsewhere until my grandma told me to get out of there and get a respirator and some thick leather gloves. Turns out that room was her trash room where she threw old needles and glass bottles in there among the rest of the trash, and the reason she stopped going into that room was because of a bad black mold infestation. We have cut ties with her soon after we had to call the cops on her for throwing a hammer at my great-grandfather for saying she could no longer live there and he was cutting her out of his will. The house is almost done though, and well over $50,000 has been put into it to repair the years of abuse she has dealt it. And I have a feeling she's going to start poking her snout back in soon. And guys, I'm curious, do you have any similarly entitled family members? Let us know in the comments. The next one is titled "My Dad's Girlfriend Got What She Deserved", posted by user Sister Rose on our own subreddit. This story is about my dad's girlfriend. Suffice to say, my dad did well with his life, but my mom died when I was a teenager. Having grown up in Asia because of my dad's work, he was happy to return home to Australia as I entered adulthood. This is when he began a long-term on and off again relationship with his girlfriend GF, who was from China. Personally, while my sister hated her, I had no ill feelings and knew her well, having lived with my dad as an adult. It should be noted that she did not live with my dad, but had her own apartment that he helped her buy. In due time, I moved away, brought my own place and tried to catch up with dad at least twice a year. As dad got older, he got Parkinson's and expected his girlfriend to look after him, so she moved in with him and he took over paying off the mortgage she had on her 3 properties. Not once though did his property become her residency. I was not aware of the state of his finances until I came up and he asked me to help him with his bank accounts. I will note that he tried to keep her out of his finances, not wanting her to meddle in his business. It was then that I became aware that even though he was getting $7,000 a month from his company pension, more than that was going out as they were living beyond their means. Travel and non-stop spending, though I also suspect gambling, as his girlfriend had once stolen his card years ago and gone on a gambling spree with it. My dad was a forgiving man. It was then when I discovered that she had been verbally abusive to him as his dementia was settling in, but as I lived in another city and he was committed to staying in his house, there was nothing I could do. I only expected her to look after him, but she even failed at that, letting him wander to the shops alone. He eventually had a fall and it is believed that is when he got a bleed to his brain. I traveled back and spent time with him, though it was short. His girlfriend had been using his credit cards for all their expenses, had no means to support herself despite me telling her multiple times to sort out her finances. After realizing only days before he passed away that she was not going to give back the credit cards, I explained to her that if she used those credit cards after he was dead, she would be committing a crime. She took this to heart because while he was dying, she logged onto his bank account and emptied it out, something like $5,000. Then he passed and could not afford his own funeral. That hurt me the most. My dad had always been good with money and she left him with nothing. Not only that, but it was clear she had emptied out the house of many items that I remembered. In this my sister gave good advice to not create drama, but also she knew his will. It was here my dad had his last laugh. Me and my sister got half each. She got a payout of $150,000, but it was stipulated that if she contested the will, not only would she not get the money, she would have to pay back the $350K that he lent her to finance her property. He knew his girlfriend well, and she never really grasped that while he had promised her everything while he suffered dementia, the will was all that counted. Note, his estate had other assets besides the cash that had been spent. I'm yet to see anything because, well, my sister is her own problematic nutshell, but I have a job. I'm okay. I suspect my dad's girlfriend without any financial support and 1.8K a month mortgage ain't so hot. In the end, I do not hate my dad's girlfriend, I am just disappointed. She hardly walked away with nothing, even if she thought she would get his estate, but she was never more than his girlfriend. I am disappointed by how she acted and her disregard for my dad's health. Thank you for letting me get this out. I only mentioned that she was Chinese because that is where they met, but I do not think my dad had an affair with her while my mom was alive. Thank you very much for posting this interesting story. However, I have to say I'm kind of surprised at how positive you are still looking at your dad's girlfriend. Ripestars, I'm curious, how do you think about this girlfriend? Let us know in the comments. The next one is titled, Keren threatens to get me arrested for gardening my garden. The title says it all, because the groundhog had no shadow, spring came early, so I had decided to weed the garden strip that borders mine and Keren's property. There's a fence between the garden and her house. While doing so, I get rid of some of my daylilies that are on my property. I finish, return to my house and continue my day, until I hear a shriek from the side of my house. I rush over because I'm scared someone got hurt, and Keren, who just got home from work, asks me why I got rid of her lilies. I say that they were my lilies and that I was making space for tomatoes, cucumbers and carrots. She then calls the police because I had destroyed her property. The police come and basically tell her to go inside and shut up because it's pretty clear whose flowers they were. How to shut up a Keren 101. By the way guys, now that most of you are supposedly in quarantine, or rather let's just say stuck at home, what things are you doing for fun? What games are you playing? Currently I'm playing a lot of games on my PS4 with my girlfriend, including Overcooked, Magicka 2, Trine and so on. Let me know what you are playing in the comments. And the next one is titled, To all the people that went to small towns for spring break during a pandemic and ransacked every store before leaving, F you. I live in a small tourist town that brings hordes of people on holiday from all over. Not only are most of these people entitled as F, belittle the locals and generally treat the whole county like it is a effing theme park, you people bought out all our daily and basic essentials before you left town this past weekend. The stores are desperately trying to recover from you animals so that us locals can barely get what we need. And now that the city has called for no gatherings larger than 50 people, all the stores are only letting 20 people in at a time. Do you even understand how impossible that is in a town of 12,000? It is Monday and we have nothing. Nothing. No water, no bread, no rice, no beans, no canned goods, no TP or paper towels, no milk, no butter, no flour, no batteries, no baby food, no diapers, and no effing medicine, just to name a few. To all of you who thought that it would be no problem to hoard a small town's resources during this before you went back to your own city after holiday, F you, F you, F you, you disgusting entitled pieces of I guess that is a big issue in smaller cities now, especially the ones that get a lot of tourists. Do you live in one of those cities that had a similar issue? Let us know in the comments. The next one is titled, Keren pretends to be wife of the manager, gets caught. Backstory, my dad is the manager of a Swiss chalet boy of a ways from our house, so if I have hockey on a certain night, I will get dropped off at hockey by my mom or dad and then get dropped off by a person on my team. This was one of these nights. Story: the Swiss chalet was pretty empty tonight, so I was seated towards the front of the dining room. An older woman walked in with her son, and already you could tell they were entitled. They demanded to be sat beside me, not for me, just like the seat, and demanded to be ordered right then and there. They get their food without any problems after asking it to be cooked again, and right before they got the check, I hear this. Keren: "There's effing glass in my food." Everybody understandably turns the F around, and a waiter runs over to check on them. Me: "Waiter, I saw her put glass in her food." Keren: "No, I effing didn't." Waiter: "Don't swear in front of customers. Now if he said you put the glass in your food, we can check the security cameras." She turns white as a sheet, and to protect herself she says, "Keren, my husband is the manager here, give me my money back." Now this is the kicker, she ate most of her food. This was just an attempt to get a free meal. Me: "How are you married to the manager? My dad has not gotten divorced yet." She then turns white as a sheet, leaves 70 bucks on the table and sprints out of there. My dad later told me the meal only cost $30. This happened a month or two ago before the virus panic, so I probably got the dialogue mixed up and probably the money too. The son was young, not sure if it was a grandchild or not, and they got cheaper meals. And with that, we have reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's content, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our amazing community. Furthermore, don't forget to go to r/ripe stories on Reddit to post your own stories if you want me to read them out in a video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I see you again tomorrow.